Why, hello, everybody, and welcome to Crossing Realms Together with the lovely Miss Laura Van Tyne and myself, the Reverend Rob Lee. Wow, bang rang, everybody. Miss Laura, what's happening? How are you?
Oh my gosh.
What's that?
You got a weird I know what it is. I'm sorry, my apologies. I had my YouTube on with the noise on it, so I
Oh,
apologize to
okay.
everybody out there. I was setting something up, so, we're good now.
Marie, I
Okay.
see you came in really early today. I hope you're back. Hello, Miss Tootie. Welcome. Glad you are here. Maria, glad you are here. Welcome. Banger.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
thank
tonight
you.
we wanted to talk about, I know I've been getting a lot of this, like, what's that about? When people like talk about on the phone about stop with the freaking resolutions.
Yeah.
So, Gillian's
So,
here, Donna's here.
hi,
Happy
guys.
New Year, everybody. All right. Yeah, they're all coming in the door.
Yeah,
The
yep.
door's drifting in, finding out what's going on. Good to see you too, Tootie. All right. Yeah. So, what's funny is there's a lot going on with this new year. Okay. And I thought it funny, that when you called, we didn't have beat around the bush or anything. I said, here's what I want to talk about. And I was already down that rabbit hole myself. So
Excellent.
let's start with the new year.
Great
Okay.
minds.
Yeah. And see what's going on. And let's talk to people about what we know. I made it to my second live chat from Australia. Natalie, glad you were
Right?
here. Wow. Banger, and good to see you. So yeah, everybody, when you're thinking about it, Laura, tell me what was on your mind with when you said, "Hey, let's do
Well,
this."
I've taken my dog to the vet. And I'm like, "Wait a minute, because at the end of every year, I always look back at that year in review, and I ask myself, "What am I grateful for?" Right? And then I started thinking, it's like, you know what? Everybody's always setting up these New Year's resolutions. And a lot of times, and you see the gyms are packed for the first 6 to 8 weeks of the year, right? And it fizzles out. You stop buying your Starbucks double cappuccino latte frappe thing. That's like $8.99 because you got all the goods in it for a couple
Right.
months. Back at it. How does that make us feel? And are we breaking contracts with ourselves when we make ourselves a promise that I'm not going to do this for a year, but then we do it for a year? We're breaking a contract with ourselves. Okay. Is it necessarily negative? No, but does it lead to, I'm going to say, guilt, shame, blame, those negative feelings that go with it? Right. And I
Right.
thought, well, what if we talked about, instead of New Year's resolutions, what are we grateful for? And what is the purpose of gratitude? So that's what I was thinking.
And
Um,
that's what was funny was the day you hit me on the phone. I'm sitting there, I was just chilling out, and my first Weight Watchers commercial came on. I'm like, oh, it's that time of year again. They're going to start blasting. Well, we got the new plan, you know, it, you know, and folks, I just want you to understand New Year's resolutions in and of themselves, they're not bad. Okay. But for the majority of us, they do set us up for failure because we're going to keep trying. And I always want everybody to keep trying, whatever your resolution is. But Laura and I are talking about, we're going to give you some other ways to look at this thing. Okay. And different things to do. And instead of worrying about a goal, because we all set goals too heavy for ourselves. That's the first thing I've had to do when I'm dealing with people. We set goals and I got to go, all right, let's chill the goal out because we all want that end result. But one of the things is people need to understand is goals are good. All right. But how do we treat ourselves when we don't make them?
mhm.
Okay. When something happens, when things go, we're human. There's another way I don't like them either. So let's get to talking. So Laura likes focusing on gratitude, and I always like focusing on gratitude.
Gratitude shifts everything for us. And, let's face it, life's bumpy, life is messy. And even in those moments where we are at our lowest of lows, okay, I can give you an example. Literally, was it a couple years ago, I hit like some really difficult times, okay, my personal life. But now that I'm on the other side of it, I get to say, wow, I'm so grateful for that because this is what I got to learn. And sometimes what we learn is who or what we thought was good for us may have been harmful to us.
Correct.
And, I had this person try to sue me, and there was no lawsuit there. Her attorney quit and said, there's nothing here. I'm not, okay. It's bad when the attorney quits you, right?
Right.
But it cost me a lot of money. It cost me what I thought was a good friend, but I realized in turn that was never a good friend. And I learned a lot about ego. I learned a lot about, in the work that I do, to make sure my intention is pure, my heart is pure, that I go at it with God in mind, right? Because
Yep.
I do a lot of the ugly stuff, right? I mean, I clean and clear the past month I've been working almost daily cleaning out really dark and heavy, I'm going to call them things. I don't want to give it any.
I hear you.
Yeah. But I realized that from this one person who was also a mentor to me, she compromised herself with her ego. And so I realized that's my biggest gift. Make sure you never compromise yourself. When you compromise yourself, what does it look like? What does it feel like? And I really started studying that. What does it mean to compromise yourself today? And it's a big deal, because all along the way throughout life, we tend to sell our pieces of our soul for little things like that. Yeah. And, I'm looking at Maria right now. There's probably not going to be any readings today just because we're just doing a show on gratitude. And, there's gratitude in readings and there's gratitude in everything we learn. But with this person, she gave me the best gift of all, even though it was one of the most painful gifts. And I'm very grateful to her to this day. Not in the way I would have thought it would have been years ago, but honestly, yeah. Yep.
And like Donna right here, I'm not making a resolution this year. We all know what we need to do. We know what we need to accomplish. Yeah. And here's one of the things I'm always telling people, and Laura's always telling people, and one of the reasons we're taking the stance on this resolution thing is our whole goal, our whole strive through life is to find our path, walk it, and be happy. Enjoy what we're doing, things like that. The minute what becomes, I personally believe, there's one of the things that happens is we set resolutions around negative aspects that we want to change. Okay. So therefore, it always starts with the diet, and it's, I can't have, I can't not. And so we're in this negative aspect, and it becomes very intolerable. Thus the term hangry.
Right.
People aren't really angry at anything. They're mad because they put limitations on themselves. Gratitude, when you wake up in the morning, okay, if you will start the day with saying thank you, bringing your spirits in, all right, and showing gratitude, naming things out loud, okay, you start your day on a more positive note. And now is the time to be mindful and say, here's what I want to accomplish today. And one of the tools you could put in there is go, you know what? Today, I just want to eat a little healthier. That's it. No major goals. If you have a Reese's bar at the end of the day, but you had everything else, you ate your salad, you did whichever, but you weren't angry about it, things will change. Change needs to happen sometimes very slowly. And these are things, but gratitude is a stepping stone for so many things that we need, that people just don't get it.
They do. And you're absolutely right about most of the time resolutions are negative, right? It's denial. And it lowers your vibration, right? I am
Yep.
really grateful that I have the ability to eat the proper food. I'm really grateful that I have these friends, these families. I'm really grateful, that the sun came out. And these are simple things. But when you start focusing on gratitude, it starts to open up the doors to wisdom, the doors to discernment, the doors to allow you to be happy. Because
Absolutely.
happiness is an inside job, right? Nobody can make me happy. I have to do it myself. Good morning, Susie at 1:39.
Absolutely. We've got Norway in the house, Australia. I mean,
Yeah,
wow, we are getting around the world here tonight. That's really cool.
absolutely. Thank you all. So what we're looking at, and when we think of a resolution, we're lowering our vibration, and it sounds kind of counterintuitive, but we really are.
Right.
When we find the gratitude, we start to find joy. Life starts to flow. Our intuition starts to increase. And so these are the things that really can change the world. We hear about all these horrors across the world, but really the only thing we can focus on is what's in our inner circle.
That's right.
And so let your inner circle echo out in a positive way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that I can't say that anymore. It's not an excuse. What right here looking at what you feel you attract, what you allow your mind. My wife hung this right outside the office door. What you imagine you create and what you think you become. So if you're thinking I'm fat, guess what? You're going to remain fat. Okay.
Yeah.
When you start, even if we go as far back as when the book The Secret first came out, it tells you in there, just say I'm not going to gain any weight by eating this piece of cake. You create, when you start creating these lifestyles in your head and different things, focus on the positive things and the things that are going to go right. Resolutions, again, I say, make us think about the things that are wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's, everybody tells you, don't focus there. Okay. So I think it's crazy to get wrapped up in that. And we can talk about some different ways. I know you had talked about having some tools that we could suggest to people tonight to use in place of a resolution. You want to talk about some of those?
Yeah. So sometimes we have this negative self-talk. All right. A lot of times this negative self-talk doesn't actually come from our thoughts, but an external source.
Right.
All right. And it could be maybe your mother-in-law reprogramming you because you don't fit her mold. It could be many things. So we have to really learn how to stand within ourselves. I like that. Thanks, Wolf.
Yeah. Bastard. No.
Yeah.
Rub it in. No, good for you. But even this.
Yeah.
I'm going to go here. I had a roommate, okay, at one point, and people called us the perfect 10. He was the 1, I was the 0, okay?
Okay.
And I'm sitting here going, I need to lose weight, do whatever. He was doing everything he could to gain weight.
Right.
So
We're all different.
so again,
Yeah.
at some point, you just got to live your life. I am what I am. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm going to put my faith out there. So, I mean, Wolf, that's awesome.
Yep.
So go ahead, Laura. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. No, it's all good. But it's when we can find these moments of what brings us joy, it literally lightens us. And here's something that I'll have clients do sometimes. And it sounds silly, but my gosh, can it be hard? You wake up in the morning, you go into your bathroom, you look yourself square in the eye in that mirror, and you say, I love you. Can you do it without looking away? Can you do it without choking up? do it every single day. And even if you do it and it's hard to do and you don't look at yourself, you've still done it, right? Because
Exactly.
what we're looking at with resolutions is a lack of self-acceptance. It doesn't mean we can't improve ourselves. It doesn't mean we can't have goals, like you said. So I'm sorry, we're just laughing at the comments.
Yeah, exactly. That's great, Wolf. Thank you.
Excellent. Love it. Love it. Speaking himself into skinniness. So
Yeah.
I just hope you don't evaporate. Okay, Wolf?
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyways, but it's these little tricks because all through our lives, especially in childhood, we have these pre-programmed beliefs that aren't ours necessarily. Okay. So I'm not tall enough. I'm not this, I should be that. I should be this. And when we look back at our life 40, 50 years ago, and you're thinking, I really thought I was fat when I was in my 20s. Right? I was like a size friggin' 7. Okay. I'm like, but I didn't think I was skinny. But when we look back, it's like those aha moments. So all you young
Exactly.
people out there, start taking your aha moments now. Okay. And so thank you, Susie. Yeah, it's a great thing to just say I love you, because if you can't love yourself, is where I was going with this, no one else will. They won't be able to.
If you can't love yourself, you will not fully. Universe can't bring you the person that you're dreaming of, because the person you're dreaming of loves themselves, and you could actually become their anchor because you don't love yourself enough. So the universe has the obligation, guides, angels, to protect the very person you're seeking to draw in from you. And let that sink in for a little bit, okay? Because that looking yourself in the mirror, most people, they cannot hold eye contact with themselves in the mirror very long. They will do it or whatnot. And here's the other thing to know about, even as far as the weight loss, somebody will say somebody's too skinny. Somebody will say somebody's too big, too short, too tall. You know what? There is always, I know it's hard to believe, but every person on the face of the planet does not like me. Okay? They're not. Well, I know it's hard to believe,
me
right?
too. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. That's cool.
No, and you know what? So what I need to do is go, this is me. I love me, and I only bring the people into my life anymore that have the same feeling about me that I do.
And you're bringing up a really good point, because that's tough, right? If we grow up, let's say, with a narcissist, and we're programmed and trained under a narcissist, it's a karmic test.
Yes.
Okay. So narcissists love empaths. Everybody in this chat room, I guarantee you, we're all some form of an empath, because we're here. And so we're like magnets to these little narcissistic little SOBs, right? So we have to learn how to break those chains. And karma is going to come back and test us. So let's pretend my dad was a narcissist, and I leave that relationship, or I have boundaries now, because narcissists teach empaths about boundaries. And now I've set boundaries with my dad. My dad, by the way, was awesome. He was not a narcissist.
Right.
But now I get a new job, and guess what? My boss is a narcissist too, just like that parent, right? So this is karma teaching us a lesson. Did you learn the lesson? Well, let's see. We're going to give you this boss, and we're going to see how you handle this boss, right? So just know that just because we finished with one narcissist, there may be another one or two that pop up in our lives, because we're constantly getting tested. And look at these as karmic tests. Look at these as experiences. If we can look at these life happenstances with the concept of, these are experiences that I'm having in my life, it takes out the drama and it takes out the emotion.
Yes.
And it allows for more gratitude.
Very much. I know my dad pulled a thing on me when I was a kid, for years. And when I'd screw up, in part of his yelling at me, one of the things he would say, didn't a little voice ever come into your head and go, hey, stupid? He did not mean to call me stupid.
Right.
But after 13 to 14 years of that, every time I screwed up, I'd be like, why am I so stupid? It took years of me. I did it a lot. And it wasn't until Gillian where she would call me on it and go, why do you keep saying that? You're not stupid. You made a mistake or you didn't see something clearly. So I can proudly say now, I haven't said that in forever. Okay. Because it becomes a habit. And folks, we ingrain through brainwashing and things we say and do, we make things become a habit. Okay. And a lot of our habits we don't realize we have until somebody hits us in the face with them.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I had to start doing was it became a reflex to say, man, I'm so stupid. And I went, you know what? And I would say it out loud. You have to, if you do something out loud and you want to correct it, you got to do the correction out loud. And I'm like, no, I'm not stupid. I just don't see the answer. And I would back up and say, God, universe, whatever, whoever, show me the answer. Get clarity, and boom, I would fix the problem. Okay. But one of the things I would get so frustrated about is because I knew that I was holding such a heavy weight on my own head for the success of some of the simplest little projects. And that can be devastating. Here's the other end of that. When one of my boys, I asked him, why did you do this? Because I'm stupid. I don't call my kids stupid. But he heard me call myself stupid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Boy, that cut me to the core.
Oh, I bet. Right? Yeah.
That cut me to the core. And you have to remember, man, I got goosebumps. And in how we're handling our relationships and how we're handling the things we don't like in our life, remember, you're teaching those around you. They think you're God.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
This
is okay.
This is wonderful because, and I want to comment on Donna. She had an aha moment months ago where she tells her dog that her dog's beautiful every day. And then she says, why didn't I do that? Why don't I do this to myself? That is beautiful, Donna. Thank you for sharing that. So, I would give pause to have everybody just take a moment. And what are one of your pre-programmed belief structures that was built into you? What is it? And just take a moment and just, you know what? I was told I was never good enough as a child. I had to redo this or I had to do that. Okay, so now as an adult, these are the patterns those moments in my childhood brought forward. What can I do to change the thinking? This is about growing a healthy soul. No one else can do this for us. We have to do the work ourselves. It doesn't mean we can't talk to friends, family, the practitioner, or something about whatever these are to help us get some resolution. But pause for a moment and just think about what is one of those pre-programmed beliefs that kind of holds you back, that limits your belief system.
Right.
And then just work on it.
And here's some things you can do too. One of the things I like to do is wake up in the morning and say, okay, what am I good at? Yeah. And how am I going to use that today? Try that for your resolution.
Right.
You know what? I can sing, so I may walk down. I'm not bashful. I'm glad that I've been given this attitude where I can walk in and just not. So I wear all my wacky shirts and everything else or whatnot wherever I go. Okay. I'll walk into a room and just start singing because God blessed me with a voice. Okay. Yeah. Just be silly. And in some of that, once you become happy and you're using your natural gifts, you will find it easier that you're not stress eating, stress gambling, stress thinking, stress, whatever, just be
The
and realize.
cortisol level within us goes down too.
What's that?
The cortisol level can start to go down within us too without popping pills.
Right.
And that means that our hormones become more in balance because our adrenal glands, that fight or flight hormone really takes over. And I work with people every day. I mean, I did take 4 days off this week, which was awesome.
Yeah, no
And
kidding.
I know, in a row. And so what we can do when we start to relax is it allows our body to heal at night. The body wants to be healed. When there's an issue with the body, something is out of balance. And it could be genetic or not. And here's another set of pre-programmed beliefs. Well, my dad had pancreatic cancer, so I'm probably going to get it too, and I'll die early. No, not at all. Do not believe those thoughts. Do not believe what your doctor says could happen to you. Okay. Take it with a grain of salt and just kind of work your way through it.
Exactly. And you know what? I have to admit, I've caught myself, in that very same boat where things that happened to my parents, my grandparents, okay, well, so this is going to happen to you. No, everybody is not. If I'm going to believe that my life is not predestined, okay,
Yeah.
and I'm going to preach that you can make a change at any given moment in your life. All right, that I can grab a card here. I'm going to do this real quick. I'm just going to grab a card and say, oh, look, the mage. Everything is within me. And I just cut the deck, and everything I need to succeed, the universe and God have given to me. Everything I do from this point is on me. And if I can make that change, life changes and things are good. We can always make a change. We can always do stuff. And one of the things I think you'll find out when you start living in a place of gratitude, living in a place of I am strong, living in a place of acknowledging your strengths, your gifts, you will find out a lot of the other stuff will start to fall away.
And your gifts, abilities, etc., start to grow and flourish at the same time. It's like peeling layers of the onion to get faster and faster and faster. There's a really good book out there, and I cannot think of the author's name to save my life, but it's called The Biology of Belief. So if somebody wants to check it out on Amazon or whatever, check that out. But it's about this concept. It's that what we believe is what we become.
And you know what? In my link tree, y'all will find links to Laura's classes and the book down below, things like that. But my wife has written 2 books, and Donnie, I saw you talk about a journal. Okay. Gillian has written a book about how to live a manifested life. And a lot of times we feel that manifested life revolves around money or material things or whatnot. It's not. It's how to live happy. It's how to do this or whatnot. Check her book out in the links below. It's on Amazon. And she made a journal because there are things you need to do. What did you think about today? How did you start your day? What did you do when things went a little haywire today? These are all things that are the tools you can use to manifest the life that you want to have.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Tootie. Bruce Lipton. That's who the author of that book is. Yeah.
Yep. There we go. Yeah. The Biology of Belief. There we go.
Yep.
So Tootie and Gillian on it. Thank you.
Guys. Yeah. But you're right. And there's no such thing as no such thing in my world, which might not be a good thing, but whatever. But the more gratitude we show, the more self-love or self-appreciation, we become magnets for those around us, right? It's very magnetizing. So How many of us out there have just like come up to an old friend or somebody and just the energy around that person is just through the roof in a good way? It's like they're doing something to elicit that. And what is that? Well, it starts out with self-love and appreciation. And when it comes to these resolutions, we can still make plans. Don't get me wrong. We can still do things. And I would say, heck, if you're really, hell bent on, starting a diet program or whatever it is, go for it. But don't start on January 1. Start in March or April or whatever, because there's less pressure on you for it.
And only one day at a time.
Yeah.
Don't set some goal where now you feel like, oh, if you messed up, well, I screwed up today, so I might as well go ahead and finish the day hard. No.
Yeah.
Every moment we can make a decision. And here's one of the things I want people to know about 2025. And so let me see. Monday night, I'll be doing live tarot readings again. So everybody that wants to jump in on the tarot readings, Monday night at 8:30. But we're going to talk about the new year, 2025. And this falls in line with what Laura and I are talking about. Why have we been so brainwashed into addressing all of our negative things at the beginning of a new year? 2025 breaks down to be a 9. This is the year numerology, the frequency of the 9 is manifesting, bringing things into fruition, bringing things to light that you want to do. This is the year. Even on February 3rd begins the Chinese New Year, and it is the year of the wood snake. I can't wait. I have already actually verbally declared this is my year. Guess what my birthday is? February 3rd. Okay. I'm a tiger. If you go through all that and everything else, but I want you to understand, I'm getting goosebumps because this is real, people. Gillian and I started out talking about not what we need to change, but what are we going to accomplish this coming year. Our life is great. Our kids are good. Things are fantastic. Are there health things we need to address? Sure. But guess what? All right. If I'm living the life of happiness and joy and gratitude, that's going to take as much off my blood pressure and stress as eating a bunch of crappy tasting Factor or whatever foods that taste like cardboard. Okay. Because all I'm doing during that cycle is making myself miserable again. So watch what you're doing for yourself. And I want to challenge everybody this year, right now, stop getting off what I need to change. What's my next step? Yep. What do I want to accomplish? Where do I want to go? God has given me, the universe has given me all the tools I need. What can I do? What are my strengths? And I'm telling you, it will make a massive, massive difference in your life. You know, everything is in the now. So love and live every now with gratitude. You've got to. You don't know what the next second's. Y'all could be watching me go. It's just life. That's the way it is. Okay. Don't fear it. Accept it. So at that point, how do you want to go that you spent so much time worried about crap you can't do, or that in 3 days or 3 months or 5 years, it's not going to matter?
Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't do it. You know, y'all want to hear something funny? Me and my sister was talking about that today, me not liking to mess up. You know what? Remember, and this is something, every time we mess up, it's an opportunity to learn something. So we don't have to repeat that again. All right. And it's all about intention. I'm going to tell you a funny story. My daddy, in one of his sermons as a Baptist preacher, you're going to get a huge kick out of this one, was because I have a potty mouth. I know that's hard to believe with 15 years of police work and everything else, working in call centers, that I make sailor blush. It's one of those things, though, okay, where my dad was like, when you hit your finger with the hammer when we're on a roof, Say Jesus loves me instead. So we were up on a roof and Cheers the World, bam, whack, and I started going, Jesus loves me. This I know. And he said, that's not what I meant. Your intention is still filled with profanity. You know, but even then, that's life. What are you filling your intentions with?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's we are so blessed to be living in this moment, in these moments. These are some of the more difficult times I think humanity's ever experienced.
Oop, I lost Laura.
Uh-oh. Am I back?
Uh-oh. There, are you back, Laura?
Yeah, I didn't, did you find me?
Yeah, you're there. I don't know. I
Sweet,
don't know
I'm like,
what
Jesus.
happened.
No, I'm kidding. I got found again.
I
I'm
found
sorry.
it.
I don't mean to offend people, okay?
Oh, I do. So, okay, there we go.
Um, anyways, but when we open ourselves up to this type of thinking, it opens up a lot of prosperous events to our lives. And as we navigate through our lives, it also, when we hit those bumps in the road, it means that we get to learn from them and we get to bounce back with more grace and wisdom. And nobody lives a perfect life without, things falling through the cracks or whatever it is. Some people, I like to say, reincarnate into this world with a cute little Kate Spade bag of karma, and other people come in with a semi truck full of it. But it's
Right.
just stuff we work through. And just know that these are experiences. Christ talks about life everlasting. He doesn't talk about death everlasting.
Right.
So we get to do it again. Awesome.
I,
Right?
exactly. And the whole point being,
That
folks,
room
is
went quiet. Damn it.
yeah, the room did go quiet, didn't it? Yeah. Boom. But it's one of those things where we have to understand what you and I are talking about is the way we're meant to live our life.
Yeah.
But it's not what's going on. Focus on what you can do good. Focus on what you do well. I don't care what it is. Everybody has some talent, even if it is to follow directions. There are some people, I've had people, can I help? Nope. Because you're not going to do what I need you to do. Okay. I've got other people. Can I help? Oh my God. Thank you. Because if I say, put the square peg in the round hole, they'll ask me which hammer to use. And thank you. You're just doing what I asked you to do. Even in that, we need people that can listen and go, oh, I understood the instructions. How can you use that today? How can you be thankful for that? That's a talent. Okay. These are different things that just mean so much. Mainly mystics in the house. Wow. Welcome, Bangarang. Glad you're here. Toys and Tarot. Glad you're here. Wow. A lot of people coming in. So, Wolf, I'm still trying to discover my talents. You know what? You've got them.
You know
Okay.
what? They also don't stay the same throughout the course of our lifetime.
No, they don't. No,
So
they don't.
that we change and ebb and flow. And back to what you were saying earlier about different people having different skills. Well, if we were all the same, we'd be robots, right? And that's the beauty of humanity, is we're all these pieces to the puzzle. We get to bring things together. And, I have to be honest with you. When I started out my adult life, I was a public school teacher.
Right.
And, what hit the fan, and I had to stop teaching.
Oop, I lost you again.
Uh-oh.
Nope.
Am I
You're
back?
like fading in and out.
Oh, weird. I've got good perception. Okay. But, I thought I was going to do one thing, and then my life took a hard right turn or a hard left turn. I don't know, but I'm back at 360. And all of these abilities that I had as a child, these psychic abilities, disappeared, but then they came back and they ebb and flow. Am I gone again?
No, you're here.
Oh, okay.
You're
Okay.
here.
You were looking kind of quizzical. I thought,
Well,
okay.
and things are going on my end. So
Perfect. All right.
we're here. Yeah.
So, but where I was going at is that, even with the psychic abilities that I have, they ebb and flow and change. What I can do today, I didn't even know existed a year ago, or what I could do then, I can't do now. Everything changes. And this is the same thing with, our trades and our skills. And if I'm a carpenter, I learn and develop and this and that. And I guess the bottom line is what are you passionate about? What excites you, right? What piques your
Absolutely.
interest?
What I would challenge you to do, Wolf, is sit down, all right, and say, this is what I do well at, and write each thing on a piece of paper, no matter how small, okay? And as you start writing, you're going to figure out, oh, wait a minute, I can do this. Don't discount anything, all right?
Unless it's antagonizing your sister.
Yeah. Ain't that the truth? Then I want you to also start writing about, what do people come ask you for? What do they ask for help for? What can you do? When do you feel fulfilled? What is it that you have done that makes you feel fulfilled? Sometimes it's as simple. Had this happen, my wife will be laughing in a minute. Had this happen a couple times this week. All right. Just happened to be walking through a store. Okay. And ladies can't reach something on the top shelf. And I never made them ask. I just, ma'am, do you need that? Oh, yes, thank you. Okay, just being able to read your surroundings, know what's going on. And in talking about how things do change, 10 years ago, I never would have thought that I could have connected to spirit, help make a difference the way I do, using a deck of tarot cards. All right, folks, it's not about the tarot cards. It's about my ability to listen when I got a really good picture in front of me. It's one of those. I am a guy that likes directions. I want directions. I want to know where I'm going. Okay. So you have that ability. Everybody has every ability. And you know what? Some of it's better than others. What is it? I challenge y'all each to sit down and start writing this down so you can find out what's going on in your life. What are you good at?
Perfect. I liked what you said about reading your surroundings. And as a former detective, right?
Yeah.
You
I did
had
a lot of undercover work. Okay.
so
And
so your spidey senses and the ability to read your surroundings, it's life-saving, your life primarily, but others around you. And so I'm just curious, when you were in those moments as an officer, what did reading the surroundings look like?
I was reading energy,
Okay.
reading feelings, watching facial expressions, and I was very good at it. Okay. And I did a lot of very large undercover work back in the day. And it just that sense of, it was almost like a psychic ability to know when two people were getting a little too at each other, and to be able to step in and throw myself in the middle of it and get everybody laughing again and off topic or whatnot. Watch movements, see what's going on. It's key. You got, when they say, read the room, you don't walk into before you walk into a funeral parlor and you make a joke, you need to read the room. Okay. Are there people looking for a little levity? Are they not? Okay. And that was the ultimate in being able to read the room. Okay. The other thing, it was the ultimate in learning to trust someone else, because there were situations I was in where I wasn't armed, but almost everybody else was. All right. And it's one of those things where you got to know to be able to trust. And sometimes people say you're too trusting. I put myself out there for people to hear, to see. I'm not going to lie. I don't want that feeling. And I'd rather know what you're dealing with, those types of things.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody can do it. but you've got to tune in. You have got to, if I didn't feel like, or if I was walking around and I seemed like I was distracted going through a marital issue or something like that, and I had was talking to my handler, sergeant, whatever. Okay,
You're
he
kind
would
of
be like,
cutting out a little bit.
"What's that?"
You're kind of cutting out a little bit.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
If I was talking to my handler, my sergeant, or whatever, like before a big deal was going down, they were very good at reading me. And he's like, "You're not on your game. I'm going to pull you. We'll kill it." And I'm like, "We can't. This is too big." And you know, it would put me back on my toes, things like
Mhm.
that. So having people around you to support you in your goal, which that might have come up, I can tie this in very well to what we were talking about, is making sure you surround yourself with people that have your best interest at heart. Meaning you got to have their best interest at heart. That love yourself before
Yeah.
you can love somebody else.
You got to
This
have
is
their
one of
back.
those things. And a lot of times we bring people into our lives that don't belong there. They were never supposed to be there.
Right.
So we have to take those steps, and those steps can be hard.
I
Hope that
call
didn't
this.
get too off base or
No,
whatnot.
that's perfect because I think that's something that everybody needs to hear, myself included. Reading the room, what does it look like? What does it feel like? And what it does is it puts us in tune with those subtle vibrational energies.
Right.
That's a
When you're
big deal.
counseling somebody, you know this one, you think you know what you're going to say, but if you listen and you pay an attention
Yeah.
and you're reading the vibrations and using your empathy, your empath to be able to do some of this, you will change a thought process, a pattern, and follow a different path in a minute.
I can never go into a client session thinking I know anything, right? I
Right.
just can't because then my ego is driving the session and it's not what that client needs. So it's absolutely important to read the room no matter what dimension you're in. I really love what Wolf said, that creativity was something that he was good at. Creativity is pure God source energy. Creativity marries very well with our ability to have free will and to think through problems outside of the box.
Very
And
well put.
we, as humanity, when we get stressed or we have these, bumps in the roads or, flat out, drop over a cliff moments, those creative moments can be difficult. And I was talking with somebody recently who was having a really tough time connecting with her spiritual team or spirit guides. And she could see them, but she couldn't communicate with them. She's extremely talented, very psychic. And she was really, really sick, which was the issue because her energy was off. She couldn't have that communication. So it made that illness even more difficult. But so know that this stuff ebbs and flows. While, the creativity was something that someone is good at, it can still be something that you're good at, but that creativity will change shape
Right.
somehow. And, back to the person who felt like she was cut off from her spiritual team, it was temporary. And it was basically because she was so out of sorts with the illness. There was not the energetic signature to connect wasn't quite as strong, but she wasn't cut off, but it does feel like we're cut off from time to time.
It does. And folks, a lot of times I hear there, and Wolf, I don't know if you meant this or not, but my heart kind of went out for you there for a second. Was something I was good at, Here's one of the things I want to tell people. Creativity is so important. Where would we be if everybody followed all the rules and nobody thought outside the box? We wouldn't have the devices we're using today. Somebody thought something was possible that other people were like, "What are you doing? You're not going to make this any better." Creativity will be stifled when we're living in yesterday. Creativity will be stifled when we're living in past trauma. Because that energy does, I truly believe, kind of what like Laura said, maybe even more. that the creative energy flows from above, from below, from the universe to allow us to disconnect from all the gobbledygook that's going on and see a different picture. Does that make sense, Laura? Did I make any sense
Oh,
there?
absolutely. And that's the beauty of how we work as humans. We all reincarnate here for certain experiences that our soul needs on this earthly journey.
Yep.
Once we are once we finish maybe one set of something or others that we've come in to learn, another set will be brought in. And we come in with these karmic contracts. This is what I want to do in this lifetime before we come here. And a lot of us bite off a lot more than we can chew. Let's face it. We get overly ambitious on the other side. But we take it day by day.
Yep.
And moment by moment. And we have to realize again that we are living in mortal time. Mortal time has time, space, and gravity, right? The physicality of everything. Cosmic time is outside of mortal time, but mortal time sits within cosmic time. So we get to take all of those experiences, think of the Akashic records, with us.
That makes total sense. And folks, if you think about it, again, a lot of what we're dealing with is stuff we've been brainwashed with as children. You got to be productive. This has got to happen. You got to live this way. There's what you got to do. I remind people, and a lot of people don't know this, when they say it's the American dream to have a home, to own your own home. One of the things I want to remind people, and you can research me, I always want people to research me. All right. After the Depression and in the war, things like that, the banks were in trouble. Okay. Nobody wanted to put their money in a bank, things like this, but they all wanted to buy houses. They didn't have enough money. Having this be a part of the American dream was actually put out by the banks so people would take a loan, all right, and so they could start living the American dream. Okay, live the American dream. And guess what? It was business that said that's the American dream. And everybody, our ancestors, everybody bought into it. Okay, especially after the Depression. Yeah, you'll never be able to take my home again. And during the Depression, reminder, everybody blamed the banks. All right. If you go back and watch all movies, the banks. All right. Well, what happened? 20 to 30 years later, to live the American dream, you got to get in league with a bank. Folks, before you start saying something is a dream, make sure it's your dream. Make sure it's what you want to do. Buying a home, for instance, is a lifestyle choice. It is not necessarily the right way to go. I've heard so many people, and at one point, y'all don't even know it, I did a stint as a mortgage broker, okay, with another person y'all all know and love, Jay Mata, okay, one of the things we did, and we were very good at it. But one of the things we didn't do was tell people this was your dream, all right? Because owning a home may be good for some people, but I remind it all the time. People, so I bought it for $200,000. I sold it 20 years later for $400,000. I made $200,000. No, you didn't. Did you put a hot water heater in? Did you buy a lawnmower? How much homeowners insurance did you pay for 20 years? You didn't make the kind of money you think. But now, once you own it, it's yours. So if that's your dream, follow it. But make sure, from the bottom of my heart, my dream is, guess what? Hey, dishwasher's broke. Okay, I need y'all to come fix it because I'm going to the damn beach. Okay, that's the way Gillian and I choose to live our lives.
And we don't do that anymore. For you, right? So everybody, what we need to do is what rings true for me, what rings true for you, and guess what? We're going to have different what rings true for us, right? Because again, we're all so different, and it doesn't make somebody's more valuable than somebody else's. It's just different.
It's just different. It's how you want to live your life. And this is some of the things as you start this year out. This is going to be a year that the universe, you're going to have extra energy putting out there, coming your way with portals and the vibration of the number 9. All of these different things are going to be working in your favor. Okay. What are you going to do with them?
Right.
But make sure you're doing what makes you happy, your heart, where you need to go, and what you need to do. And don't start this year out by saying, what's wrong? I just don't.
Yeah. Absolutely. What's right? How can we enhance it?
That's it.
And if something, something needs to be worked on, it needs to be worked on. But it's just take the emotion out of it. And
That's
what
it.
I've noticed in the past couple of weeks, and I think it's going to stick, nice is becoming back in fashion. Kindness is coming back.
Yes, it is.
And I am so excited about that. The acceptance we have of one another, even if we have different ideas or ideals, is coming back. Those separations that a lot of families have been dealing with for the past 5 years seem to be waning. It's coming back. And I think
I agree.
beautiful. I'm excited about that. And I think this is part of that golden age that's coming around the corner for us.
Yeah, people are realizing, and it's weird because you don't know who to trust. Where do you get your news from? Blah 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 blah. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You're going to know what you need to know. Trust me. Okay. You're going to know what you need to know. It's one of those things. A lot of society has not changed. It's what everybody's trying to again implant. People are starting to break free. They're starting to free think. All right. By us telling you, screw the resolutions, think about what's working, what you've got, what you can be thankful for, what's your strength, what's your power, and how can you use it every day. Everything else will start falling into place.
Yeah.
Falling into place. Focus on what you want to become, what you want to happen in your life, not what's wrong. It's just life's so much better that way.
It is. And one last thought before we go, because I know we're running out of time here, is we can't want something for somebody else that they don't want for themselves. So we have to, when we have these thoughts and what we want to do, I can't make my boyfriend love me. I can't make my son stop doing drugs or whatever it is. But what we can do is focus in on ourselves, and that will echo out.
Exactly. Exactly. That and I couldn't have said that any better. Focus on yourself. Self-care, self-love. And in this time I want to accent and accentuate self-love. I don't think that could be any better. Let that be your New Year's resolution. I love
Love it.
myself. I'm good. There are things I know can be great. 2025 should be our breakthrough year. It is going to be our breakthrough
Yeah,
year.
it's going to be good. I'm excited about it.
Yeah,
Yep.
just see it, work it, and make believe on it and everything. Venus, absolutely. I've seen it happen myself with trying to change my mom when she wasn't ready. You can't do it, folks. Again, y'all know I used to work in addictions. The show I hate the most on TV was Intervention. You can't do a forced intervention. Everybody does great in a rehab, especially when they have a buffet. All right. It's one of those things where you're doing great.
Yeah.
But if they don't want it when they go to get it, you can't. It's on them.
Yeah.
It's on them. You can give them love and light and everything else.
And, Venus, you got to learn a lovely lesson on how humans work at the same time. I mean, it's not ideally probably what you wanted for your mom, but you got to learn something about how this works. And I think, maybe that's karma working in a positive manner that we may not think about that way.
Right. I agree. Venus, that's awesome. Thank you very much. Things are going a little wacky on my end again. So whatever happens, happens. So at this point, Miss Laura, you got anything else you want to say?
I'm grateful for everybody here. I'm grateful for these conversations, you and Gillian. I mean, this is fun. I love this.
It's
Yeah.
all great. Elphaba said it best. Something has changed within me. Something is not the same. I'm through with playing by the rules of someone else's game. That's
Very
really good.
true.
I have no idea who Elphaba is.
From the
But
movie Wicked.
oh, okay. I have not seen it, so I have to
Okay,
see it.
so I just saw that. I never saw the play, and so much of that is so true.
Right.
It
Exactly.
was interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you know what? I will tell you this, even in that last little topic we're talking about you can't help, you can help somebody, but only if they want it.
Yeah.
And what I beg for you to realize is people will drain you dry. You've got to protect yourself when helping other people. That sounds bad, but it is about protecting yourself. It's very simple. All right. Because sometimes you got to say, I love you. All right. And I can give you all the love in the world. But guess what? That's what I can do
Yeah.
for you. I can love you.
And I'm going to answer Natalie. I got your email. I have been inundated with Christmas, but I plan to catch up tomorrow. So thank
There
you,
you
Natalie.
go.
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely.
Great. All
All
right.
right.
Very
Thank
good.
you
So,
all.
well, thank you very much. Thank you, tribe. Thank you, everybody, for being here. It's been a great evening. Now, next Wednesday night, I will not be here. So I don't know if Laura's going to try to do something or not, but I cannot be here.
Okay.
Gillian and I are moving on Thursday and Friday. So I got to get my computer tore down and moved so I can be back up and running for Monday.
And then when we do get back on the 15th, we're doing a show on spiritual tools.
Yes.
Which will be awesome.
Yes. You just got to keep reminding me of that. Spiritual tools.
Yep. And
I think that's great.
We'll I'll see what Donna. Okay, I'll see what we can do next Wednesday.
All right.
Okay. All right. Very good.
All
Thank
right.
you guys.
Sounds good.
Have a lovely
Okay,
week.
everybody. With all that being said, we love you. Take what you want, leave what you don't, but leave having experienced some peace, love, and light.